Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bailey.
And I'm Raquel.
And this is the Whole Shebang podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Whole Shebang. This is episode 39, where we are going to be talking to you today about various conspiracy theories and how exactly we started with the conspiracy theories.
Yeah. I just want to ask, did you forget what episode number this was, even though I just told you and looked down to see what you wrote down?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I literally told you seconds ago.
Goldfish. I am a goldfish. I just wanted to check and make sure that we were on the right one.
My conspiracy theory is that you actually have the brain of a dog.
No, brain of a goldfish, not a dog. Dogs remember things. Goldfish eat their own poop. I don't do that.
That's a great thing to put on the internet, Bailey. That is amazing. New conspiracy. Now we know why those friendship quizzes are always asking us about our bathroom things.
Dinner's ready.
I need to move out of this one for a minute here. I can't look at you. No.
Are you sure?
No. This is not the direction we're taking the podcast. What is she doing to us?
I don't know. All right, so conspiracy theories.
This is almost worse than the rose out of your mouth in our valid.
How did conspiracy theories start or come about? Raquel, you were doing that research.
Was I, or was I on social media?
You could have been on either. I mean, I got lost in the Epstein files and then the FBI database and then the CIA database.
Yeah, that was interesting to listen to you read through. I read an interesting article called Conspiracy Theories as Part of History, the Role of Societal Crisis Situations. And essentially, just to sum up the article, it talks about how conspiracy theories tend to come about when there is a crisis and people are feeling hopeless and like they don't have any control over the chaotic situation. So the prime example they give is the conspiracy theories that come about after, say, 9/11 or, at the end of World War II about Hitler. And so you can kind of match these sort of really popular theories, even the ones that are coming about now, with our current and past crises. So one of the most popular ones that came up historically was evidence of the Roman fire during Emperor Nero's reign. And it's kind of like conspiracy theories tend to come out of playing the blame game a little bit. So everyone said Nero was laughing about the burning of Rome and maybe he started it. And he got really mad and he said, no, it was the Christians. And then that led to the Christians being, burned or crucified. And so that's kind of how these things come about, is from us being uncomfortable and out of control of our situations. And also feeling like we don't have all the facts. I mean, it's really easy to be like, I don't know all the things going on in this situation, so you start to make them up in your head. And I think we all do that. So it's a very human condition that's been around for a very long time, and they'll probably continue to be around. Of course, there are some more outlandish theories than others, and some do end up being real. Do I think dinosaurs exist? Yes. Are they conspiracy theory? Apparently. So there's a lot of different sort of routes that I can go on, and I think the world wars really impacted this. Like, before we have these sort of cults or secret societies which contribute to conspiracy, but definitely the Cold War, it seems, when we start to get into things like aliens or the moon landing or Hitler actually escaped. And then you start to see these sort of conspiracies lining up with political events or the death of people is trying to like, oh, maybe Michael Jackson's actually still alive. So it's interesting. It's a very weird psychological response to trauma.
I think it's people's way of just trying to explain the unknown.
I mean, in Mesopotamia, they would explain that through witchcraft, which in a way was a conspiracy theory itself.
Yeah.
I'm really sick, I don't have a cure, it must have been a witch cursing me. I find, especially since like the 1800s and the Enlightenment era, that conspiracies also come out of a lot of political unrest or uneasiness. The war has tons. There's a lot going on that we can't explain. I also think like the secret societies coming to light as well also contributes. Religion plays a part of it. We talked about this earlier. It's pretty much a conspiracy theory that we can get into. There's all these things going on, and it's all about the unexplained.
Yeah. And I think as human beings, there's just something about it. We need to explain the things that we don't necessarily understand or know. And conspiracy theories is a great way to do that.
And some are more plausible than others, not to shame the flat earthers, but there are some that a lot of us are like, no. But there are others where it could, especially the Epstein files, there's a lot of, oh yeah, shoot, look, this is real.
Yeah.
And I think that that plays a part of it too, but the internet does not help things.
Oh, no. Especially now with the emergence of AI and everything else. There's a lot of videos that are circulating that are completely false and were made, and people are believing them, right?
Well, I could right now make an AI video of myself in the sky flying with wings and start claiming that I am an angel and I have all the hidden knowledge and blah blah blah. And I will probably pick up a following.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
stay tuned for the episode where we start and develop our own cult. But so talking about conspiracy theories, what conspiracy theories do you like? Like you talked about flat earth
yeah.
and stuff like that. I'm still waiting. So with the flat earth theory, there is another conspiracy about the ice wall in Antarctica and how people can't go past the ice wall because that's the end of the earth. And that's why they gatekeep Antarctica so, so much. And there are other Antarctic theories, conspiracy theories as well, like the Nazi or alien base that's out there that people don't want you finding out about. Hidden ruins. I was watching a YouTube video on pyramids that they had found on Google Earth in the Antarctic beneath the ice. And they were talking about whether or not they were like mountains or if they were pyramids.
I'm so glad you brought up pyramids.
Okay. Before we go on to that bit, though, a tiny little thing that I find interesting because Antarctic is. It does also say there's a conspiracy about there being a hidden world beneath the Antarctic ice.
Yeah.
And well, I could see that because we are finding now with science as the ice caps melt, there are new forms of sea life being found that are now unthawing from the ice, but they're talking about like an entire world hidden beneath. And I just wanted to make this little thing is that maybe How to Train Your Dragon 3 was trying to tell us something with their hidden world in the thing. I'm just saying.
And now you should have gotten our tinfoil hats, Bailey.
I know, but I don't have any tinfoil.
What kind of human doesn't have tinfoil? It's important. We're talking about conspiracies.
I have wrapping paper from Christmas. That's kind of shiny. It'll repel the rays, you know?
One of us is going to be mind controlled and it's not going to be me.
They wouldn't have to do much to mind control me.
No, but things might actually get done on.
Yeah. They just have to go and tame the monkey in my head clapping the cymbals.
They're going to be in there going, what is happening?
This was alive the whole time?
Where's the controller?
There is none, psych.
And you'll come up to me and you'll be like, there's a voice in my head. It wonders why I'm functioning. Hey, say hi to your voice.
But okay, what was it that you were saying about the pyramids
Oh, the
in
pyramid.
Antarctica?
Well, not Antarctica, but just pyramids in general. There is an episode, we've talked about ancient aliens on the podcast before. There's an episode of Ancient Aliens where they say there's a sphinx on Mars. A rock. But you know, it looks like a sphinx, so it must be the sphinx, the missing sphinx from the pyramids. A really, really popular thing that came out of the 1700s was these cults or secret societies, like the Freemasons start in the 1700s, a little bit earlier, but like they consolidate into a full thing. A Rosicrucianism, which is like the mix of, they claim, ancient Egyptian religion, which is kind of the rabbit hole I was going down when we were researching this together. And so it's all based on this like secret Egyptian knowledge that they had that we don't have. And there are secret tunnels and passageways under the pyramids.
And inside the pyramids.
And you enter through the Sphinx. Yeah, okay. I think it was last year or the year before. There was a published paper that I saw everywhere, and even in like my academic circles, about possible chambers under the pyramids. And it made groundbreaking news because it was like validating this theory. That paper, once you actually started looking into it, was complete garbage. The scans they were doing and the type of scanning would not create those kind of results. There's no physical way they could get the results they were saying they had. There was no chamber based on their results. And when you started actually looking them up, they were not credible like sources. It was not an academic publication. And suddenly, the more you peel back the layers, the more this whole like big discovery kind of just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Well,
think it's
most,
like we want it to be there, but it's not.
yeah. And most conspiracies are like that. And most conspiracies I find come about because there isn't enough public information on the thing. So we
These
make it up.
pyramids of Giza have been studied since the ancient Egyptians were still around.
Yes.
The Sphinx was excavated by one of the pharaohs of the New Kingdom. People have been going there for the last 4,000 years to excavate. There's no hidden chambers.
I mean, not hidden chambers, but isn't the top of one of the pyramids missing?
I mean, they're made of gold. Of course they're missing.
I know. And that piece of gold could have been a conduit to open up the pyramids.
Or to start the spaceship, yeah. And my problem with this is that people always focus on the pyramids of Giza. Do you know how many freaking pyramids there are in the world?
Well, I was just talking about the ones in Antarctica. I wasn't even focused on Giza.
Did you know that Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt does?
No, that's fascinating.
Never mind the ones in Mexico.
Oh, well, the Mexico ones are really cool.
Yeah, and they actually have tunnels.
And tons of stairs.
A lot of stairs. And they were used. They're functional objects, whereas the ones in Giza are just tombs. We know they're tombs. They tell us they're tombs. And there's other pyramids in Egypt. The Step Pyramid, for example, which does have a lot of false chambers. Pick something, anything else. Branch out on your archaeological conspiracies. There are other things.
Yes,
Way
so
more interesting.
I think for the next pyramid conspiracy, we should go towards the Antarctic pyramids. I think that would be fun. I think that would be entertaining to watch people try and get to them.
Do you want some legitimate archaeological news that has to do with pyramids?
Oh, yes, please.
A boy in Montreal, a young, like, elementary school boy, recently discovered a potential forgotten city of the Mayan civilization.
Hmm.
And he found it using satellite imagery and mapping the stars.
Way to go, kid.
Yeah, he was like a young kid, and he's like, I really want to go there to see if I can find it. I was like, I'd watch that documentary. Let's give him
I
money.
would. Hell.
I
Fund
saw
that
that. I
kid.
think that came out. There was a news article about it that I saw yesterday.
That kid to go on an expedition to find it.
So see, real research yields real results. But you asked me, and I didn't answer a conspiracy that I believe in.
Well, not necessarily believe in, because I know you don't technically believe in any conspiracy, but one that you find the most plausible.
I mean, there is one that I believe in that's not quite a conspiracy theory, but is something that a lot of people don't like to acknowledge.
Okay.
I believe that humans had writing much earlier than we think we did.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I don't think, is that considered a conspiracy?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who don't want to believe that there was prior writing to what we see in Mesopotamia, but there is very strong evidence to suggest cave paintings may be a form of writing.
Yeah, I mean, around the city that I'm in, there are cave paintings up along Lake Superior. And one of the girls that I work with the dog show, she studied archaeology when she was younger before she became a corrections officer, and was going on archaeological digs to these cave paintings and these sites, and they're all around.
Sometimes, so it's like some people are like, yeah, of course, and it seems obvious, but a lot of people push back against that.
Oh, really, eh?
The biggest conspiracy that I think is plausible is aliens.
Oh, I think they're
I don't necessarily think that they need to be intelligible.
lizard men come up a lot in conspiracy theories.
And that also stems from Mesopotamian artifacts of lizard men that do exist. They're real. I can show you later. But I think aliens could be in the form of like bacteria.
No, yeah.
And I do think that the probability of extraterrestrial life is high enough that I can believe it without physical evidence.
Yes. So where my stance on the aliens and extraterrestrials is, given that the universe is constantly expanding, and we live in one galaxy out of millions, there is possible that there is intelligent life. I mean, it's extremely possible statistically and theoretically that there is intelligent life somewhere out there in the universe. Whether or not they have visited Earth is why would you want to? But
I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I also am like, I don't think they would leave evidence that they did.
no.
I mean, because if they did in the past, they would probably see us even now as like unintelligible life forms. We kill each other for fun. Look at the Epstein files. Look at all the garbage that's coming out. Who's gonna see that and be like, I want to be friends with these creatures?
I mean, so I forget where I read it. One book, we had been talking about DNA of the gods,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because I had read a little bit of DNA of the gods, and it was talking about the Nephilim and how they came down and bred with humans, and then that was their whole thing. Giants and everything else. Like, I see conspiracy theories of how giants once ruled, the earth, because everything was much bigger if we look at dinosaurs and everything else when the stuff was there. So it was possible that people did exist in the conspiracy realm of things that were much bigger than what we are today as humans, and even some places with trees, like tree stumps, the big trees kind of thing. But they're now considered mountains. But people are saying if you look close at them, you can see the rings within the mountain that would signify them as like trees. So I think that's a pretty interesting concept and conspiracy theory. And it goes back to, aliens coming down to Earth.
We can do a full episode on Bible stuff one of these days. I'd have to touch up on some of it again. Especially Old Testament Bible stuff. Like, I can do that. Easy. I also like matrix theories.
Matrix.
Quantum physics is really interesting.
Oh, it is. I love quantum physics.
I don't like thinking about it because it like freaks me out a little.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I had been reading a book on quantum physics because we perceive things and matter moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything outside of our perception right now is just a black hole void and doesn't exist until we look at it. And then our brain conceives the moving matter into the objects and things that we like our brains perceive them as. So I think that's just so cool because like I'm in this room right now, but my living room does not exist until I look at it and then bam, there it is.
But then you get into conversations which enter the museum world with this sort of idea of object agency. So people and things that act are agents, right? You have agency, but can an inanimate object also have agency?
Is it like the free will kind of thing?
In a way.
We think we have free will and then do other things have free will?
And your agency, like my phone is not going to lift itself off of this desk, but if I act with my agency to go and pick it up, then it's off the desk. But does it also have agency? Does it cause me to act a certain way? And this is really hard for people to grasp, especially like white European individuals. Because in a lot of cultures, objects are not objects, they are living beings with stories and lives. And then, especially in some of our Canadian Indigenous belief systems, particularly like I worked in Vancouver, and you have the Northwest Coast masks. They are alive even when you're not wearing them. They talk to each other. That's why if you go through the Museum of Anthropology, you'll see some of the raven masks. They'll have their mouths taped shut so they can't talk.
That's rude.
Well,
let them talk.
You don't
but
want
to give credence to your things, that things talk to each other. And so they projected light waves through a slit. And when the particles would go through the slit, it was predicted that they would go through in a red or a straight line and they would hit the board or whichever in a straight line. And they did do that when you were watching.
Yeah, and then
but when you weren't watching, they would change the directory. And I do believe they went into like a wave formation. Mm-hmm. But then when you watch them, they went into a straight line again.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's like the recent studies that have been done on mushrooms and fungi.
Mm-hmm.
And how there's like a whole communication system. They recently said, I read something that they've now pinpoint that plants will scream when they're injured.
Yeah, well, that is apparently what the smell of grass cutting is the grass releasing a scent of distress.
What are the vegans gonna eat when you start tormenting the plants?
I know, we just have to tell them they're alive too. But I did hear another conspiracy theory.
Oh, here we go.
It has to do with the vegans, that some people have learned to completely photosynthesize. So there's that. We'll see how that works out.
I love that. That's good. Okay. That's probably my favorite one now.
I need to get on that. If I could just go and sit in the sun with grocery prices, I'd be great.
I know. Think of how much money you'd save.
Right?
Just gotta be outside for a little while.
Right? I just gotta get the chlorophyll going, you know?
Oh, jeez.
I'll be a green person.
Like the green giant.
The jolly green giant.
That's a good one. That was a good tie-in. Good job. I like that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, so I like matrix theories. We've talked about quantum physics. We've rambled about it before. Try to think. I mean, it's definitely obvious that there's a group of people who pretty much run the world. I mean, that shouldn't be that surprising anymore.
No.
Historically, I think there is enough possibility that Hitler didn't die at the end of World War II and moved to Argentina. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah. I mean, historically there is a plausibility. I mean, I don't think anyone actually ever saw his body
And,
or
like, there's just not enough documentation, and there's a lot of Nazi loot that has never resurfaced. And some of it does show up in private collections, and suddenly you're like, oh, actually, that's so and so's painting from their family, and they'd like it back. And like, you never know it's gonna show up in auction. I mean, just watching the Antique Roadshow, the stuff that pops up. So I think those sort of conspiracies could be real.
yeah.
I don't know, until someone pulls out a body and is like, this was genetically tested to be Hitler. I don't think we'll ever know.
No, and I don't think we'll ever know now. Like that will always remain a conspiracy theory. But there are several, like the
There
ones
is
that
a
you were
way they
saying.
can find out if they tested Hitler's genetics, if he had children when he moved to Argentina and didn't die, then there should be a population of people in Argentina who could have his DNA. And that would be the only way, really, that you would be able to figure that out.
That's true, but we would have to have his DNA somehow.
We do.
Oh, we do.
Sorry, but if
We'll Google it. We just want to check and make sure.
and he definitely had like a sister. Like he has family members. Oh no, sorry, he didn't have a daughter. Why did I think there was a daughter? Maybe it was Stalin, maybe who had a daughter. I don't know. But his sister lived. Yeah. Apparently, Adolf and Eva Hitler had a daughter who had albinism.
Oh,
I don't know if this is real or if this is a fandom thing. It might be a fandom thing. It's a novel. Apparently, there's a novel.
hmm.
Okay, it's not real. I'm getting a lot of weird things. This is why doing scholarly research on Google can be really difficult. Okay, so there's conspiracy theory by some historians that Hitler secretly fathered a son with a French woman in 1917. But it doesn't seem likely. He did marry Eva in the bunker, but then they supposedly died. Okay, so it seems like he didn't have any children, at least none that are like
Documented.
known. And it also seems like he got married at the last minute just to get married. I mean,
The time was nigh.
yeah. But he did have a relationship when he was 28 with a woman who may or may not have had a child. So there you go. Even in academia, there's some conspiracy like things. But he does have a sister. And I think she was alive until the 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, with how far genetics has come,
Mhm.
but they would have had to preserve the body of Hitler in that bunker to be able to test against, or like you said, go to Argentina and see if there's any genetic markers.
Yeah, and I mean, now you could just dig up the grave of his sister to test it, but I don't think anyone's going to want to do that.
No, no.
Gotta wait another 100 years. Then it's archaeology and it's no longer grave robbing.
Exactly. So we got to wait a little bit. But I mean, going with the Hitler live theory, I was seeing a conspiracy on how people, especially influential people,
Mm.
never truly die and they just get reincarnated, which was the ones I was seeing. I was watching, I love conspiracy TikToks. And there was a guy who was going and comparing really influential figures today. Like there was a NHL player and some of the elites,
Mm.
and comparing them to some of the first people that, made the US and signed the Constitution and everything like back then, and how they look identical. And I think it became because I've been seeing a lot of Epstein files videos.
Mm.
And with Ghislaine Maxwell going and testifying, whichever video that was, there is now a conspiracy that she was not Ghislaine Maxwell because her facial features did not
Yeah, they
line up
changed.
correctly. Yeah. And they
Okay.
changed. So now they think they have someone surveyed, her time for her.
I mean,
I could believe that one too, 100%. You don't have that much money to do nothing with.
someone can always be bought off.
Oh, of course. And if you ran that big of a illicit ring, there are some pretty powerful people that don't want you talking, and they will get you out of trouble.
And some pretty good plastic surgeons.
Yep. Some great plastic surgeons.
I saw something once. It was like a talk show with Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter. And they had a photo of this like woman from the early 1900s who looked exactly like him. And they're like, "Are you really a time traveling lady?" So like the doppelganger thing too. Like they say everybody has a doppelganger.
Yeah. It's supposed to be disaster if you ever meet yours.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. And then what else with that? There's tons of conspiracies
So
with
many.
influential figures, especially.
Yeah, that kind
so
it goes into like what I was saying about the politics, right? Like
yeah.
secret societies that come up, Freemasons, Illuminati, Rosicrucianism. They started in like the time of Enlightenment and they just really pick up. Although now, if you're interested, you can go read about Rosicrucianism and join their newsletter from the UK branch, because I found that on Google. There's also a museum. So, not so secret anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to keep a secret organization secret when you have Facebook and blogs and websites.
Yeah, join our Facebook.
But the elites. What are some of the ones that I like about the elites? Not that I like, but that are popular and that have surfaced. There's Pizzagate, where you've heard that one. Pizza, when celebrities in that reference, pizza parties is in, what's the word I'm looking for? Is in tandem, or they're not talking about an actual pizza party. And then another one that I heard was the elixir, that once you reach a certain stage in Hollywood, you'll be offered this golden elixir that will like initiate you into the elites.
That's
right?
a very like alchemic kind of belief. But it's true though, because there was like this weird obsession with turning things into gold back in the day. And now they've successfully turned things into gold by accident scientifically, so that's kind of cool. So it is possible. Alchemy is real. It is just not what they thought it was.
Oh, there's the clone theory. The newest clone theory is Jim Carrey and how he has been replaced by a clone. Because I do think their clone theory was, if you refuse the elixir, so to speak, you can't come into the inner sanctum. So they have to get rid of you. But if you're popular enough, they can't just get rid of you. So they have to make a clone of you to do your job so that they can control you. So I don't know if that's a mind control thing or a clone thing. But I did look up cloning websites a while ago because it mentioned them, and they were sort of there.
I have been seeing a lot on like Instagram Reels and TikTok things about Michael Jackson coming out about because of the Epstein files, about how they like purposely made him look bad even though he was trying to warn people.
And how they orchestrated his overdose to get rid of him.
I believe that.
I believe that too.
Because it falls in line, right? So conspiracy theories seem to take like a couple different directions. They all deal with the unexplained. But there's like the political conspiracy theories for when you don't understand like what's going on in politics and you like to think there's bigger things going on. But then there's also like the events and like natural disasters and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's interesting because like you also have this like very racial element to it sometimes. Like we were talking earlier off camera about how most conspiracy theories back in the day were all about the Jews. Why do they keep targeting the Jews?
Yeah.
Like the Jews were persecuted and claimed that the Black Death was caused by them poisoning wells. The Hitler, that's all I gotta say. And his crazy nonsense about the Jews. And it's still everywhere. This like anti-Semitism is like a thing. And it's interesting how many conspiracy theories come out of racism. Like even looking at medical conspiracy theories, which plays into like politics, but also like COVID-19, was it an attack by China?
Yeah.
Medical conspiracy theories also come out of this kind of like racism or, the people in power aren't being honest.
Yeah. Because I see a lot of stuff too about how there is cures for all these diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's and everything like that. But the elites are, you know, gatekeeping them because they make so much money off of our,
Research. Yeah.
like the research or just the unhealthiness of the people.
And it's interesting though when you think about it, like not to get too political, but people like to complain about the people in power and you make these conspiracy theories and some of them are true because the Epstein files definitely confirm a lot of them, but they only get power because regular people give it to them.
Yeah.
And then you have people who vote for Donald Trump. Not that we're anti-Trump at all. I think it's pretty obvious our stance on
Yeah.
that kind of situation. But like, if you give them power, they're going to use it.
Yeah.
And then you start to theorize about it. And it's like, there's so many people in history who do really bad things, they end up dying for it, usually. And it's because one person can make such a huge impact on the world, but it takes another person to go, no, actually, this is wrong. And we're starting to see that in the US. Like, look at Minnesota.
Hmm.
It's interesting kind of how that
Yeah.
works.
Well, like you were saying, how one person can change
Everything.
everything.
We were talking about Constantine and his contribution to why we don't worship the goddess Isis and we worship Christianity instead.
Yeah. And like you said, it just took what, one day?
Yeah, he had a dream. He put a cross on his shield. He won a war. He's like, well, actually, I'm gonna start worshiping this religion instead. And then the whole world is like, well, okay, if our emperor is doing it, we should do it.
Yeah. And it
Here we are.
changed literally everything about history and religion and
Imagine the way the world would be if the dominant religion was ISIS.
yeah, a
Because
matriarchal religion.
at that point in Roman history, the cult of Isis was almost more popular than Christianity was. And it remained so until they started calling it paganism.
Yeah, which paganism just referred to every other belief outside of Christianity.
And then Christianity started dominating, and then we had the medieval ages, and everything got set backwards instead of forwards. Like, who knows what the world would have been like if he hadn't done that?
Yeah.
One man, one weird dream. That's all it took.
It's crazy. The world is fun. And I like conspiracy theories because sometimes it does lead us to ask more questions, almost philosophical, right? Like why? Why is this going on? Is this really true? Can this be true?
Is the world flat?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to go past the ice wall.
Yeah, well, I like how this all started because I was mad that people were talking about dinosaurs. So I keep seeing this on my like Instagram, keeps popping up with this theory that archaeologists are hiding the fact that dinosaurs didn't actually exist and that dinosaurs were actually dragons and we're just hiding their wings for who knows why. And we created the whole class of dinosaurs just to hide the fact that dragons were real. I don't know why that's picking traction. But you know what? We talked about dragons in one of our previous episodes. I don't remember which one, but let's go searching for that.
I think it's in our supernatural episode.
Yeah, probably.
But even the thing with dragons, like if we look at it from conspiracy, why would they hide it unless dragons still exist? Because if they were a thing of the past, you wouldn't hide that. Like dinosaurs, thing of the past. You're not going to hide that they existed.
I want to know why we needed to create dinosaurs instead of just dragons, you know? And like some dinosaurs do fly and have wings.
Yeah, who's to say they weren't dragons?
Did they breathe fire? I don't know. I've never seen a dinosaur in real life.
If we look at theories, and now we're going supernatural again,
And what's
but
up?
unicorns are an urban legend, but there's no telling that, horses or goats or whichever, like unicorn just means one horn.
Mhm.
Something could have been born with an anomaly.
Oh, definitely was. But not to see, now you got me onto Mesopotamia again. We have texts from Mesopotamia called Omen texts. And the omens, which they were writing forever, but in Mesopotamia, because that's what I know about, some of these texts they cover everything, every possible thing. So if there's thunder, the king might die. Oh no. If there's lightning, this might happen. If the lightning is to the left of this city, this could happen, but to the right, it could be something else. Covers everything. There is a whole section for animals born with anomalies. Two heads.
Yeah, two
Or
heads is popular.
two-headed sheep in Mesopotamia. Because they were born that way. So, like, that's how we know that this isn't, like, completely an impact of our horrible effects on our climate. I mean, it is definitely impacted, but it did happen back then too. And like stillbirths, if it has one too many toes, if it's missing an arm. And like we know even in humans there were disabilities. There's a whole text in Mesopotamia called Enki and Ninwa, where Ninma makes humans with disabilities, or sorry, Enki makes humans with disabilities. No, other way around, sorry. Ninwa makes the humans with disabilities out of clay, and then Enki goes and assigns them a role in society. And this covers people who can't walk, the blind, the deaf, the short people, the people born with no genitalia. Like, everything. This is a Sumerian myth. So we're talking like, I think it was from 1700 BCE or something like that. So like, thousands of years ago, we already had these things.
Oh yeah. They're just a continuation.
So it's not like we're gonna hide the dragons.
I don't know. I still think we need to go to that hidden world underneath Antarctica and the dragons will be there. How to Train Your Dragon prophesized it.
I'd rather go to that one that's like a massive land mass. What was it called again? Terra?
Oh yeah, the Terra. So one of the conspiracies we were talking about earlier was the guy who allegedly was flying and his passport said he was from, are you looking it up?
Yeah, I am.
This place that she's going to correctly pronounce,
Probably not.
and it never existed. So they say that he was a time traveler. It's a pretty popular one.
But it's also in a map from the 1600s. And like maps back then were weird, so I'm not like surprised. I can't find it now.
Oh, conspiracy theory.
What is going on? It was here.
They knew you were looking and now they took it down.
Literally while we're talking about it.
It's because we were talking about it and they listened.
I'm like searching for the word. Bailey, what has happened?
Maybe my phone.
It's good. That's weird. Okay.
Torrid.
Mm.
That's the one that I was.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is said the man from Torrid is a 1959 to 1960 mystery involving John Allen Kuchar Zegras, a con man arrested in Japan with a forged passport from the non-existent country Torrid. While urban legends claim he vanished from a locked room, he was actually a criminal sentenced for fraud. That explains a lot.
I think it was called Terra something, the one that I saw. But now it's not coming up at all. Am I having a Mandela effect?
I don't know. I didn't see it with you, so you may. But okay, Torrid was the one that I was thinking of.
Okay.
But I don't know. Is that a Mandela effect? Because
If
I thought he was on a plane, and when they checked his passport, it said he was from a different country, and then he like escaped authorities out of the thing. Is it
No.
okay? Listeners and viewers on YouTube, is this a Mandela effect? Are we wrong?
I think what happened was that I read about this and was reading it out loud to you, and then you're like, I remember this thing that was similar. That's how I'm remembering it. I found it. It did exist. The one that I found was Taria or Tartaria, and it is a kingdom mentioned on a map in 1680 that has this area labeled, and it shows evidence of this kingdom, and so people think that it was kind of like Atlantis, full. So it was hidden evidence of an advanced worldwide civilization with access to free energy and particularly populated by giants, which was destroyed in the 1800s by a great mud flood. Cataclysm caused them all to be buried.
Yes, and then I remember because you mentioned that, and then I went into Nikola Tesla and how he was killed and how they burned all of his plans because he wanted to offer free energy to the world.
Yeah, that was our. It looks like it's Russia.
Okay.
From this map that I'm seeing from the 1680s, it is Russia.
Okay, so it was just renamed.
No, I think that whoever made the map probably never went over there and is just making the map based on things they heard. Because Japan kind of looks right, but also not. And China is a weird shape, and the Mediterranean is not doing what it should be doing. So I think that that's the case. I mean, that happens a lot in that time period. Medieval depictions of ancient Egypt are hilarious. Like they used to believe that the pyramids were grain storages because they're just being described. It's like the whole Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which is also kind of a little archaeological conspiracy, is where is the Hanging Gardens? Do they exist? And there's a pretty compelling theory that they're not actually in Babylon, and that's because they constantly mix up the names of the city Nineveh and Babylon in Greek sources. And a lot of our Greek sources about Babylon are from people who have never traveled there, and they're just writing about it based on what they've heard. It's like a horrible game of telephone.
Yeah.
But if you want something
Plato?
funny, yeah.
Was it Plato and the fall of Atlantis that
Yeah.
people are guessing that it was Pompeii
Yeah.
that he was seeing, like the eruption of Pompeii? Was that the same time period? It was something along the lines of the fall of Atlantis, and people were saying that it was some other disaster that had happened during that time that he had mistook.
But he's not writing the fall of Atlantis to be a historical piece of work.
No.
That's like saying that Gotham City is a real city and Batman is a real, human.
I mean, maybe in an alternate parallel universe.
He could be, but it's a story. It's like saying Hogwarts is real.
Yeah.
I've seen crazy theories that say J.K. Rowling's actually magical folk and is just writing about her experience at Hogwarts.
So this just came to my mind when we're talking about that, like Gotham City, Batman. As you were saying earlier, like our phones don't have that awakened sense, right? Like the free will type thing. Well, what if every story that was ever created then became real somewhere else because they created it.
That is the plot to a lot of anime.
Yes. I do watch a lot of anime. But I don't know. It's a cool theory to think about. Because if everything's a simulation, I mean, we're talking now about how we're becoming so advanced that, like, look at The Sims. Look at us in The Sims.
Mm-hmm.
And now The Sims can play The Sims in the game.
Yup.
So what if it's just a repeat? What if we are somebody's Sims and then we created The Sims and then our Sims created The Sims and then it's just an infinite
theory.
loop?
That's the Matrix.
Right?
It's weird. Try not to think about it.
Right? And so, like, is somebody up there in the clouds in my Matrix maybe playing on a computer or something else and being like, this person's going to start a podcast now.
Gonna not
sit
have
on the
a good
couch.
job. We all should be Sims.
Maybe we're all Sims. I wish
Whoever
controlling
is,
me would give me a little bit more motivation.
at least we're not sharing a bedroom together with Judy in our 1-bedroom house and our 5 cats, like our Sim versions of us were.
This may be the sad part, but maybe we're not the
main character.
Maybe we're the NPCs in the other houses that live their lives and we aren't getting controlled.
We could be. Just like all the other little Sims.
Right?
Wonder who the main character is. Probably Trump.
Probably. Or we're just, the game that they forgot. They started playing and they never came back to anything. So everything's just running wild. We need an update to the system,
It made me think of the Antichrist again. But I think I want to save religious things for a different episode sometime.
We will. Okay, so I do want to do a religious episode.
That's good.
Come for us if you must, but
maybe we'll make that an exclusive episode.
We'll do an unhinged one for the exclusive episode. I think a lot of people would be interested in the religious theories.
I have a book about finding the historical Satan.
We will do that one on the Patreon when we set it up.
And we can... Yeah, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Yeah, we're not going to summon anything into my house. We're not going to entice anything.
Fun. You never let me have fun.
You can have fun at your house.
Nah. Well, all I summoned was a ladybug, so I don't know what you're so worried about.
Yeah, the Ouija board, when we did the Ouija board, summoned a ladybug. I don't know. I had a fly here the other day. I was thinking Lord of the Flies. You had sent it to me. I don't know.
That's a horrifying book.
I know.
That is like my teenage trauma. Okay, I think we should wrap
it up. Yeah. Because there is too many conspiracies to talk about, but I don't know. I had fun with this episode.
Yeah, let us know what things you believe in or have heard of or think are absolutely ridiculous, or if you want us to talk more about something.
If you want us to do an entire deep dive into one specific conspiracy theory and give our thoughts on it, like, let us know conspiracy theories in the comments on our YouTube videos or TikToks or whichever else. However you can find us, we are everywhere. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, tell our little sim brains what you want to hear. And until next time, guys, cheers. That's all for today. Catch us on Instagram, where we drop teasers for the next show, and our Discord account. Links are down below.